Happy Tuesday, beautiful souls. I am struggling with getting my camera set up for the Instagram live. So my Instagram, my IG family, I'm really not doing this on purpose. I really want you to be a part of today's segment, but my camera I'm having some issues. Yes, I am very tardy, but I had quite an emergency situation arise this morning that needed some of my immediate attention. And I think it's a great segue in today's topic called Now Hiring Fear Manager. Now hiring fear managers. And yeah, that was no fun. I know it's in a little of a shock. It's all good. So let's continue our segment. We are now on episode number 26. And if you're catching us on the replay, or if you're new to the show, Happy New Year. Welcome. We are doing Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, where we are transforming your inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience for 13 minutes of your day. And be sure to invite someone on the journey. We're on episode number 26 of Shift Your Thinking, Dean Del Sesto, 200 Ways to Improve Your Life. And I'm committed to completing the 200 ways. So yeah, if you just joined in, jump in, say hi, say hello, drop in a comment box, give some love. Like I said, I do apologize for the delay, but I did have an emergency situation that required my immediate attention. And I think it's interesting that today's segment, we're going to be talking about managing fear. And so I've titled this segment, Now Hiring Fear Managers. Now hiring fear managers. So, all right, we fear what we're unwilling to manage. The author says you'll read about fear in this book more than once because it's the most paralyzing emotion that exists. It is proven to keep us from our hopes, dreams, and vision in every area of life. And if that isn't bad enough, its subversive nature can cause disease, anxiety, depression, and suicide. So forgive the redundancy, which I believe is warranted. Fear is a human condition that may adjust, but it never goes away completely. Fear is a human condition that may adjust, but it never goes away completely. Let's sit it there for a while. I think I want to build on that, especially because when we're stepping out, everything that is unknown will cause a degree of fear. All right. And anything that's new comes with its own level of fear. And it can work for us. And I think that's one of the emotional quotients, one of the emotional intelligence that we can develop as human beings, is being able to transmute energy. Emotion is energy in motion. And fear being one of the energy in motions, being able to transmute that either in a way that we can harness it to force us, harness it to grow us, harness it to push us. It can work for us. I can say, as a matter of fact, over the last year, I reflected on a lot of things that I stepped out and did. And for most people, they would be driven by fear and not do it. But for me, stepping out into the unknown is what drives me. It exhilarates me, gives me adrenaline. Because when I know and I feel in the pit of my stomach it's something I'm afraid of doing, that's when I know I should be doing it, because I know that's where the growth is, outside of that emotion, because it's outside the comfort zone. So that's why I'm calling this episode called Now Hiring Fear Managers. You should be looking to hire not someone, but hire and tap into that aspect of yourself where you are managing your own fear. Don't outsource this. The author says, like money managers who manage your money, like money managers who manage your money, you've been inherently hired to manage your fear, especially if you have a fear of money. What is your money relationship like? Because let's remember, we're in a relationship with everything: people, money, jobs, careers, our children, our mothers, our parents, fathers, siblings, relatives, experiences. These are all relationships. Your spirituality, you're in a relationship with it. So what's the status of your job performance in the fear management sector? Are you more on the promotion side, getting fired, or just stuck? Now hiring fear managers. You've just been hired to manage your own fear. And where are you with it? How are you performing on the job? Are you on the promotion side? Are you getting fired? Or are you just stuck? That's cute. You'd have to look at each area of your life to assess how you're dealing with fears, putting them in a place where you largely run them and don't allow them to run you. That's a good one. Are you managing your fear? Are you managing your fear? Now hiring fear managers. And how are you doing on the job? Are you running from it? Are you facing your fear? And I think that's when things starts to fall apart, is when we think we're outsourcing. We outsource it to someone else or something else, which means we're just substituting what we're really feeling. And things start to go awry and things just start to get out of control. So how you doing on the job? Finances, relationships, career, social life, whatever. If we don't have a commitment to managing the fear that shows up in these areas of our life, it's only a matter of time before fear seeps into paralyzed progress. Again, we're in a relationship with all those things: finances, career, social life, doesn't matter. But when fear shows up in those areas, what are we doing about it? Are you managing your own fear? With so many areas of life demanding attention, it's wise to have a system to maintain all of them. In order to keep fear under management, discovering which areas need attention and then blocking out time to confront the issues, as well as seeking perspective from others, will help you govern over them with excellence, confidence, and reduce anxiety. I like that. Let me reiterate that for you. Discovering which areas need attention and then blocking out time to confront the issues. Especially I could reflect on sometime years ago, I think over 10 years ago, my relationship, I tend to substitute there when things would come up. I wouldn't face them. So I was not being the best fear manager because I was afraid to either confront the issue, deal with the issue. I wanted to be non-confrontational. How many of us are preferring to be non-confrontational because we think it's easier? Well, here's what I'm finding about life, and I'm sure you'd be in agreement with me, that oftentimes the right decisions are not the easiest decisions. And where we are seeking to really grow or need to grow is going in that place of fear, that dark side, that scary side. One thing that I said, as a matter of fact, over this last month, I was saying that I was no longer afraid. And don't use that as an affirmation. I don't recommend that you say I'm no longer afraid, because your subconscious mind does not know how to interpret negatives, like words like no. It doesn't recognize that, doesn't know what to do with that. So, but I was just saying in conversation and really to myself, because I had a moment where I was really very proud and excited of the fact that I have stepped out on what am I talking about? The podcast, the radio. I know a lot of you have invited me and suggested and said, Lisa, you should do radio podcasts. You know, and this has been going on for some years. I've been hearing this for a very long time. And I was gradually making my way, you know, starting with coming on live stream TV and doing this and doing Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, doing Ready, Set, Real Estate on Wednesdays, Hugh and Lisa on Fridays. So, you know, I was acclimating. I was getting myself comfortable. And then I had this opportunity to create a podcast and to see that, you know, going through it, submitting, it's the reinforcement doesn't come from actually getting it done. And the reinforcement doesn't come from it being approved, at least not for me. It came from the act of doing it. I'm more rewarded from the act of making the steps, which is going into the unknown and stepping out and saying, yeah, I am actually going to do this. So for those of you who have said to me, you should do the podcast, you should do the podcast, guess what? I am now on Google Play Music and Anchor FM. And be sure to subscribe, like, share at LA Super Agent on those social media outlets, on those radio networks and channels. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'll bring Shift Your Thinking Tuesday there, which I'll truncate the 13-minute message to 5 minutes. And then you'll also be able to hear the podcast stream of my guests for Wednesday, which actually tomorrow my guest will be on the radio podcast. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's absolutely wonderful that I get to offer both platforms. And I didn't have the insight, which is great, about intuition, right? And I mentioned about the gut. I mentioned about the pit of the stomach, because your intuition knows what it's going to take to grow you. And when I was feeling in the pit of my stomach that this is something I should step out on doing, but I didn't know, right? I don't know. I think that's what exhilarates me. That's what's exciting, is because I don't know what the outcome is. Worst case scenario is it doesn't happen. Somebody says no to me. Oh my God, no. I didn't die. I'm not falling apart. My life isn't over. The worst case scenario is no. And I think when we're managing fear, we should, especially when we look at it as being hired to manage fear. You are on the job. And maybe if we add how much value it's worth, we would probably make sure we are outstanding managers, because guess what's at stake when you are being hired, when you've just hired yourself to manage fear? What is at stake? Your money, your relationships, your spirituality, your esteem, your sense of self, your identity, your growth. Those are all at stake depending on how well you're managing fear. So I leave you with this. And again, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Thanks for catching me on the replay. We do normally start at 8:10 Pacific time every Tuesday. However, I had an extreme emergency this morning and it needed my immediate attention. And I'm also noticing how, although my emotion is in a state of shock over what I had to deal with, I am committed to moving forward in focus. And I think that just comes with my mindset, managing pressure, managing stress, managing all aspects of life, because it's life. But I said, you know what, instead of not doing the show, I committed to following through with doing the show, even though I'm not starting on time, but events happen outside of me that is out of my control. And again, I remember the 90-10 rule. 10% is happening to us or for us. 90% is how we're responding to it. So I leave you with this for this week. Consider hiring yourself today, effective this week, and let's apply this, to manage your fear. And you all know what it is. It's not for me to know. I don't need to know your secrets. Although if you want to DM me, if you want to text me, that's all good. I do have tons of people that feel very comfortable in sharing with me, and it's fine. And we can manage it together. But this week, hire yourself for the position of managing fear, because what's at stake? Your money, your relationships, your identity, your esteem. All right, you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a powerful and productive week. Be sure to subscribe, like, share at lasuperagent on all the social media, and be sure to subscribe to the email, because I am brewing up a cool giveaway and prizes as we continue our series. So I'm really excited about that. And I will, when I finalize the campaign, you'll see it come through. And then I want to make sure you're in on the fun, because this is all about fun. I make sure everything that I do in life, I'm intentional, that I make sure I'm having fun at all times. All right, you guys. Thanks. Have a productive and powerful week again.